How did this U.S. Copyright Office, part 3 of a report not due to January 2026, see the light of day in May 2025? Part 1 came out in July 2024 about digital replicas, deepfakes, stopping that because a lot of celebrities and politicos and things were challenged. That came out. Then in January 2025, copyrightability. Can we copyright what content we create in AI? Can an AI-generated work get copyright? These kind of issues. And now we're waiting maybe for a year, but certainly not 3 months. And do remember, the Copyright Office in the US is not a legal institution. It's part of the legislative branch, Congress. Doesn't have anything to do with creating a law or saying this is real. These are guidelines, recommendations that the government and the courts take very seriously. Last defense by AI, it's human learning. We learn AI like humans. It's easy. Humans every day taking copyrightable content, transform it in their brains and create output. Papers, paintings, photos, we're just like that. Nobody's going and suing the students. And the Copyright Office found that that argument was not really strong. For one, a student doesn't learn that way with hundreds and billions of pieces of data. The scope and the scale is way beyond humans. And this is an argument I've heard at TechCrunch Disrupt. This is a party line of AI. The most devastating for AI companies is market dilution. This report says that the market for creative services, the creative industries, will be diluted. And if you've looked at previous pods I've done, that industry is focused on tremendous growth in the next 10 years. They say this would impact this tremendously. Whether or not it's true, that's an economic impact. Listen to what the report says about where a model can produce similar outputs and what that means.
Where a model can produce substantially similar outputs that directly substitute for works in the training data, it can lead to lost sales. Even where a model's outputs are not substantially similar to any specific copyrighted work, they can dilute the market for work similar to those found in its training data, including by generating material stylistically similar to those works.
What we've learned is the U.S. Copyright Office said what it really comes down to with AI and whether creators should be compensated is the purpose of the AI model, and there are many different ones. And some should be able to use copyright content, others should not. Economic and social impact. They seriously took this and looked at it and said it will impact creators. This is probably one of the biggest takeaways of a report many of you may not even see. It's likely to get buried, but if you look at this, that is a really stunning statement. Especially considering if we look at this as an AI heist of copyright, sort of looks like big tech is in line. And if the government's involved, well, I mean, that's way too deep a rabbit hole. We don't go here because who knows? What's really important is what's happening now as we're in limbo, because the report does exist and it does make a lot of sense. So let's see how that would impact people. Creators, windfall here. If this report has time to take root, every publisher, music label, and organization would be awash in court cases. They would be throwing this around so much, and that's not necessarily a good outcome, but they're waiting because they don't have anything to go in on except futuristic projections. This makes it pretty concrete. Think about it. If you have to license books, music, and art for training, the economics of AI completely change. The entire model is built on free content. That, I've said, is a false premise of this. They didn't have the right or permission, and neither side seems to even be able to deal with it on that end of the AI copyright heist. It happened, now what do we do? And AI is saying, well, that's good for us. And the Copyright Office is saying, not so fast. Copyright Office says, yes, creators, you deserve compensation for certain types of AI models, many of the dominant ones we know. So with this document out, suddenly, in this little Saturday, May 10th, they fire Shira Perlmutter, the Register of the U.S. Copyright, the head of the U.S. Copyright Office. Was this because of the leak? Was this just because they had previously fired the head of the Library of Congress, Dr. Carla Hayden, on Thursday night? And the Library of Congress manages or runs, responsible for, the U.S. Copyright Office. So Definitely it could be logical there. Nobody knows, but it certainly was within 24 hours. That report didn't make people happy. And if somebody's putting out a report like that, they want it to get out there before they're gone, because given the pattern of the current US administration, pretty much the purge happens and you move on. So when the men on the chessboard get up and tell you where to go, and you just had this US copyright report and your mind is starting to glow, go ask Shira. I think she'll know.